Welcome back to the Live at a Dollar Podcast Network, ladies and gentlemen. And I will tell you this, we started the network and had our major launch on May 1st, and now we're about 7 months into it. And finally, I get to sit down with the dynamic duo right here. You see them every single morning in the lair. That's right, Grant and Bugzy joining me here in Radio's Yard. Boys, first off, I appreciate you guys making a little bit of time. And second off, why the hell did it take this long to get you two in here?
That's the golden question right there.
Right?
All you had to do was ask.
You're right. Probably should have just,
That's
probably should have just texted earlier, right? And said,
all you had to do is send a text.
And I even talked with Kobe about it, and Kobe's like, "Oh, I'll send the text." I'm like, "I could send the text. I don't need you to be my executive producer, but I do appreciate
Send the
it.
text.
I do appreciate
We
it.
said yes immediately.
Within seconds,
Yeah.
and I appreciate that. But honestly, I want to talk to you guys about the yard a little bit, about the hobby, about you guys in general. But I have to start with this because you're coming off something very hot. Yesterday, you guys got to sit down with one of the biggest phenoms in Major League Baseball right now. Nick Hertz was sitting down with you guys, ripping cards with you guys. How much fun was that?
It was unreal. I think we get more athletes in after Nick Kurtz. You have to find young, talented prospects who actually enjoy sports cards.
Right.
Not someone to collect a check. It's
Right.
a lot different.
Right.
He was actually interested. He liked it. He was getting into it. He was having fun. Not just someone that's just sitting there.
Right.
So it's a lot more entertaining when you have a guy has boys who collect. Like he's boys with Jacob
Right.
Wilson, he collects. Caglione collects. He wants to get into it more. So that was his first taste of what sports cards is, and no better place to do it than with Buggy.
Listen,
Stop it.
well, at this point, too, I wanted to give you some credit, too, because obviously in the middle of all this, you can't just have the guy sit there. You got to entertain. You got to talk a little bit with him. You had some nice little questions. You
thank
sounded a
you.
little bit like a reporter, but like an entertainment reporter a little yesterday. I was watching, yes. I was one of the 2,500 people in there at any time during that room. But how much fun was it? How much fun is it not just yesterday, but just sitting when you do get an athlete in there also?
Yeah, no, it's honestly incredible because, you know, we look up to these guys.
Right.
We don't look at these guys as human beings. We look at them as sports figures. And at the end of the day, we're talking to Nick about it. It's like, at the end of the day, they're human.
Right.
So not only are we asking them questions about the hobby and what they do and don't know, but more so just getting to know the person. I think it's very relatable to go out there and collect someone
Right.
when you can relate. And, he's got similar interests to me. Oh, he's just a regular dude just like me. I think that right there, what our questions that we asked, I think kind of nailed that as not only is he the chase in this product, but he's also a cool dude. I'd love to grab a beer with him one day.
Right. And I think that's what makes a lot of those kind of interactions with an athlete, entertainer, someone who's kind of up there in the world. And you find out when you sit next to a guy like that or a girl like that, it's like, you know what? They're a normal person. Yeah, they've got 85 million followers on Instagram or something like that, and I've got 17. But, like, it's a normal person sitting there, and that's the fun interaction. All right, now I want to start with this because I'm interested to hear a little bit of background from both of you guys. I want to hear how the hobby first started in both your lives. How did it start? What was the first chase? What was that first thing you were going for? I'll start with you, to my left.
Well, the hobby started for me in Walmart or Target.
Okay.
We used to go as me, Broch, Nick, Shu, and Brett were the only people at the company. And this is when we were getting into it on TikTok.
Right.
And we were watching other people do it. And we're like, we could do this. It seems fun. We don't know what's really going on. So we would camp out and get to Target. We would get 2020. They were the green boxes. 2020 class, green megas. And that was Herbert, Burrow, everybody else. And we would camp out. And we would actually go to our cars and try to go double, which was very frowned upon. But we'd wear one outfit, then I'd go to the car, get one box, get a hoodie on, check in as another random person, go in, get another, then go as many times until they ran out.
Right.
Then we would bring them back, and then we would do solo packs on TikTok, one mega pack at a time.
It's a little different from what we're doing now.
A lot different, but there was nothing like hitting a Herbert green die cut.
I can imagine. Are you serious?
That was like the first box I opened myself was a Herbert green die cut.
Was it really?
It was a car rip.
I like that. What about you? Same thing. Same question for you.
For me, I think it was when I had actually started here,
Right.
I was breaking, and I probably had about 8 people in my room. And I remember I used to sit there all night long. And I remember there was one night in particular where, you know, you have stuff up in your store, you know, and I was breaking blasters at the time, nothing crazy. And someone purchased something for $1,000, and it showed up on the screen, and I was like kind of like starstruck a little bit. I was like, did someone really just do that? Was that an accident or not?
Right.
Turns out, I got that person's contact information, developed a really good, good banter back and forth. We started, talking about what we're interested in and all this. Turns out he's a big soccer fan, as was I, and we just get to talking. He goes, there's this really like cool soccer product coming out. Like, how do I pre-order 5 cases of this? And since that day, moving forward, that's kind of when the hobby started for me.
Right.
Because I was able to make magic happen with 8 people in a room at 3 a.m. where, at the end of the day, what's on the table in my room was on the same room next door with 300 people.
Right.
So it was all about kind of just navigating and kind of seeing what works and what didn't work. And I think that's kind of where it like kicked off to start off for me.
I like that because and I'm going to go a little deeper with you guys also because I want to hear about your first chase in the hobby. I'm not talking about since you got to the backyard. I'm talking about as a kid because I'll give you the example for me. I remember 10 and 11-year-old radio going to the baseball card shop right by my house in Plantation every single day after school. Every single weekend, I was there at 9 a.m. till 4 p.m. I did not work there. I was just hanging. You wanted to hang at the baseball card. You wanted to rip packs. You wanted to. I remember chasing the 89 Ken Griffey Upper Deck, the 90 Frank Thomas. Like those were my chases. And God, I wanted one of those. And my worst story ever, I'll tell you guys, is my bar mitzvah when I was 13 years old. My best friend and me, infatuated. We're both into the cards more than anything. Mom comes to the card shop and says, I want to buy you a nice gift for your birthday. I'm going to let you get something here. I talked to the guy, Steve, who owned the shop. He knows the guys you love. And I was chasing the 92 Dream Team. I wanted everyone's rookie card for that 92, including Michael. I wanted everyone's. So what happened was the baseball card shop owner made 2 piles on the table and said you could choose one of the piles. This pile over here had a Michael Jordan rookie in it. I have no idea. 7, 8, 9. I have no. Maybe it was a 10. I have no idea. This one had Malone, Barkley, Pippen, Stockton, and Chris Mullen. Oh, it was Mullen. It was like 6. Which pile do you want? You're allowed to have one for your bar mitzvah. And of course, me, I look and I'm like 6 or 1. I'm like, easy choice. Karl Malone, and Stockton were in this one. And I was a huge Malone fan. Easy. Took the 6, took the 7. Of course, not knowing that the Grail was sitting to the left, and everyone was a Jordan fan.
Which Jordan?
Oh, it was Jordan. It was
a Fleer?
Fleer
86.
86 wow. Fleer Jordan rookie, the one that we chased at the National, everything sitting right here by itself, just by itself. It's only one. And then there was like 6 over here. Of course, I wanted the 6 over here. Took the 6. To this day, I still bite my tongue when I talk about it.
I've owned one. I had one.
Okay, so now I want to get into the part B of this. What was the chase as a kid? Was there a chase as a kid you can remember?
No, there was.
Was it Pokemon? Because remember, I'm older. I'm 46. You guys are much younger. Mm-hmm. When I talk to some people now, the chase was a Charizard or what? I have no. What the hell's that? I got a Charizard at the Greek place down the street. I don't know what that is.
Chases didn't start until Trevor Lawrence for me, and it's not like at that point I was knowledgeable enough and I've ripped enough to know you don't dome boxes to chase a player.
Okay.
So I was never chasing by opening up boxes, and that's probably saves me tens of thousands of dollars. I can only imagine. Because I'd only get into breaks to get Trevor. But like a real chase is I wasn't into sports cards growing up. I was more into Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like my number one. So Yu-Gi-Oh! Was like the blue-eyed dragon.
Yeah.
Or like certain cards that were very rares, we'd go to Toys R Us and open packs of Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. I had a Pokemon binder, but I was way more into Yu-Gi-Oh!
Right.
Because Yu-Gi-Oh! You could play. Like me and my friends would come over to my house, pull out our decks, and actually play on the floor.
Right.
So like you were wanted the best cards, and at that point you have no money. It's like whatever your parents give you, go to Toys R Us, get a pack. That's how you build your deck. So then that's how we would play. And then Pokemon, I probably had thousands of dollars worth of cards now if I look back on it.
Right.
Because I had a full binder.
Yeah.
Full binder of Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon. And then it's a story that everybody has. Your parents are like, this is trash, get rid of it.
Right.
Probably donated it.
Right.
And it was gone forever.
My parents just are moving out of their house now. I went into the attic, and my mom and dad were like, you have like bankers boxes up there. And I don't even know what's up there. And I went up and I looked, of course, because now I'm interested. Now I'm in the hobby. I'm in the yard, the whole deal. I've been here a year. And it was the entire 92 Marvel set with holograms, 6 complete sets. I used to just go, and if I'm missing card number 182, I would go to the card shop and be like, do you have number 182? And I'd get them, and I completed 6 of them. Probably not in the greatest condition. Just could not believe that I had all the holograms and all that stuff. I can't wait to show everybody. CJ's been asking about the whole deal, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, that was kind of like the Marvel thing for me growing up. The same thing. What about you, Chase?
Yeah, I mean, kind of.
What got you into it with the Chase?
Kind of the same for me. It was Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and then once I really started watching football, I would always get a pack of cards from my grandfather. They weren't even packed; they were like makeshift packs. Right. Like he used to have just random cards, and he'd put literally white printer paper around it and tape it up. And I remember going to my grandfather's house. I used to eat their dinner once a week, and if I finished everything on my plate, he called it the Clean Plate Club, and he would give me and my brother a pack, and it was just randomly assorted cards. But when I first started like watching football and I fell in love with Brett Favre, the only thing I wanted was Brett Favre autos, and I know somewhere in a storage locker somewhere is my binder.
Right.
Like not even my dad's, like mine, where it's slide after slide of just different Brett Favre autos. So that's kind of where it started for me, but I never thought it would like amount to what it is today.
Right.
I never thought they'd actually have like real value. Because back in the day, it's like you could, like you said, you could walk in there and you can buy a Brett Favre card auto. You could buy an auto for $5.
Right.
You didn't think it was going to turn into a $250 card years later. I didn't know anything. And when you talk about chase, it's like without knowledge, you don't know anything.
You don't know. Right.
My only chase was finding that.
Sure.
Different Brett Favre cards.
And you were happy when you got any kind of Brett Favre at that point.
And I think it really started how I remember Brett Favre threw a pick against the Giants in the NFC Championship game. I remember it was a freezing game. Tom Coughlin's face was all red. And I remember he threw the pick, they lost, and I ran upstairs. And I opened that binder, and I was wanted to rip it off. I remember my dad tackling me not to rip that binder off because I was mad at the world.
Right. Of course. You didn't, I mean, nothing was taking you off the ledge at that point.
Exactly.
There, especially after that pick in that game. All right. I'm going to shift back over here because obviously now I work here at the Backyard. I left the radio job to come here and do this. How did the Backyard start?
The Backyard started with in 2020. So this was before COVID. We were doing Backyard Athletes.
Okay.
Do you even know the story?
No, that's I wanted that. I've talked to your brother. I've talked to Broch. You're the last one of this little crew that I need to talk to, but I've never dove deep into this outside of, it was after COVID or before COVID. Like I need to hear, I need to know I know why I'm here now. How did I get here? Like, how did I get to this?
This is the true origin.
This is what we're here for at Live at a Dollar.
Before Backyard, there was Backyard Athlete, which was me solo.
Okay.
So out of college, I said I'm going to start something. I figured out online, go to Alibaba. I'm like, I'm an athlete. There's these chips I've never seen before. These could be fun. Mm-hmm. Let me put my brand on it and sell it on TikTok because it's free to post on TikTok. So I did that for like 6 months, 6 to maybe 8 months by myself. So all the chips were in my parents' house. Me and Avery, my girlfriend, would pack the orders, and I had $0. So I'd literally just post TikToks. And I didn't think it was real until one day after posting 100 videos, one got 20,000 views. And then I got 100 orders in a day. So then I would continuously just post, go live, post, go live, post, go live. I was doing Whatnot before Whatnot was even there. So then that happened 6 to 8 months. Broch, Brett, Shu, Godfather, we're all working at a teeth whitening company.
Wow.
So they're at a teeth
right.
whitening e-commerce company doing ads, doing videos. And they were doing that for like a year or two. And then eventually that company fell out and there was drama, a whole different story. And then Nick.
That's part 2 of the podcast.
That's part 2. Right. Nick, Broch, we sit down on every, it was at TGI Fridays, Mission Bay. TGI Fridays, they approach, they say, let's combine our talents. Because at that point, they were doing ads, videos, editing. I was just going live on iPhone. They're like, you can actually brand this product, market it on Instagram, Facebook, all these different things that I didn't do. I'm like, yeah, why not? I just said yes. It's my brother. It's my brother and my friends. I was like, I always dreamed of not being by myself, doing something with your friends. So we combine. We did that for 8 months to 12 months. And then eventually I'll never forget, it was a Friday. It was before the weekend. It was a Friday. And I used to go play Catan with all my friends. So it used to be all my back home friends and then Reed, who's Bleacher Breaks. Right. And then so we would talk while we're playing Catan. I'm like, Reed, what do you even do? Like, what is sports cards? And he'd explain, you open up boxes, you get this. He goes, you would be very good at it because you're already going live. Sure. So then we're like, it was like in the back of our head, if this never works out, like we want to learn this industry and let's do that. And then that was Friday. That Monday, we got a cease and desist to stop selling the Backyard chips because essentially,
I love it.
On paper, they were the same product as another, just our label.
Your brand was on there.
We eventually made it to a sense where they were different measurements, that they were a different product. So essentially they weren't against the cease and desist. Like we would have won it. Right. But that caused us, literally that Monday, we dropped it all.
Yeah,
We
to
just
pivot.
dropped it
Right.
and went right to Walmart and Target and picked up boxes and started learning the hobby. And then we just went live on TikTok how I was doing it,
Right.
but just with blasters, megas. And then that's how the backyard started. I think I was the only person breaking for 6-8 months.
Wow.
We used to be in a
Where
gar-
was the breaking coming
We
from?
were in a
Garage?
garage.
Right,
We were
yeah.
in a garage of where we did Backyard Athlete.
Right.
In that garage, and the people don't know the real grind. This today, what I say is Bugzy. This is easy.
Yeah,
This is
right,
bliss.
right.
This was I was waking up. We were getting to the office 9 a.m. I'd go live from like 9 to like 3, 4, and I'd literally sleep on Champ,
Right.
R.I.P. Champ, his bed. We'd have lunch. I'd take a nap, then go back live from 5 to 8, 9 p.m. Go to sleep, do it again for 6 months straight. It was double lives every day.
And it was just you.
Just me, only me, nobody else.
I mean, that is how the hell did you get here? by the
Yeah,
way?
it's actually a funny
I mean,
story.
That is
I-
ridiculous. By the way, I'm going to let you go, but like that's ridiculous how you hear these stories 30 years, 40 years from now, and you're just like, oh, yeah, I can expect that that's how that happened. We're not 30, 40 years past that. We're a couple years
5
past
years.
that. We're 5 years past that. And we went from that garage and you sitting and truly shout out to Champ there. Rest in peace. I love that too. I love that dog too. To where we are now. We're you know, like where we are in the building, where we are now, how we break now compared to what you were doing. That is pretty
No,
crazy.
but people before Bugzy goes, and I don't want
Right.
to. I don't.
No,
wanna
no,
interrupt.
Bugsy's getting his
I'm just
time
saying,
going.
like we had so much hate for us entering the hobby.
I can imagine.
Because we were the first people. Like when I was doing it by myself, I was straight out of college, and I was shotgunning a Twisted Tea or a High Noon or a beer for every one pulled. So that was like a stigma
we
of
still do
like,
that? No, okay.
no, we can't do that. But I was
Keep
shotgunning, so that's why I would have to take a nap because I'm like, I'm a little,
Yeah, of
I'm a
course.
little faded.
Right.
I'm a little. So
How
then,
many 1-on-1s you pull today? 7. Where's Grant? Oh, he's
Yeah.
sleeping on Champ's bed. Okay,
so
cool,
then
yeah.
people would because what the hobby was at that point, there was no. It's got overtaken by younger generation in the last
I
5
know.
years.
Yep.
And we were kind of the first of our own breed of making it super entertaining and doing these crazy things, jumping on tables, because that's just who I was.
Right.
So I now look at it and I'm like, I would have hated me too, because I was hyping up base cards.
Yeah.
Right.
I was
right,
hyping
right,
up
right.
silvers
Right.
that are worth $10
Yeah.
because I didn't know
Right.
different. Like I didn't know comps, I didn't know anything. Now we look at it back then. If I watch someone like that, I'm like, what a loser.
Right.
Yeah.
This guy
Because
doesn't
we're in
know
a
what he's
different
doing.
mindset.
Right. This guy
Yeah,
doesn't know what
but
he's
to your defense, at that time they were worth significantly more than they were.
They
are
were
today.
like pulling
Right,
a
right.
field level silver. I
Right.
have videos of like pulling a black out of a mega a field level silver Herbert when a field level silver gem was $1,200.
Right.
Yeah,
Out of a mega.
exactly.
Out of a
little
blaster.
different now.
It's
Well,
a lot different.
Yeah, very
different
different now.
than we're- okay, so back to you. How the hell did you get here?
So I went to Florida State,
Right.
and I majored in sports management,
Okay.
and I had no idea what I wanted to do with my life. And one day it hit me. I said, I want to be an athletic director. And I wanted to be an athletic director like at a top 25
Sure.
program. They make very solid money.
Good money. Right.
And I ended up taking a job out of college to be an assistant athletic director at a school in Maryland. And I remember signing that contract, and I remember actually getting a call from Reed Bleacher on your behalf. And he said, you'd be really good at this. Starts explaining to me what's going on. I responded to Reed, and I said, dude, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right.
I actually responded, and I said, I have a real job. I was there for a year. My roommate from college, J-Mo,
Right.
was
Wow.
like,
God, everything.
he goes, I'm gonna take a stab at this. I might as well. And I remember him calling me and being like, explaining what I'm doing. He's like, yo, you got to do this. Like, it'll be perfect for you. It'll be perfect for you. I was there for a year. I said, I'm moving home. I said, this is my calling.
Right.
So that's how I landed here.
Right. Wow. I mean, first off, when I hear all these stories, and you got to also remember, guys, that I came here out of nowhere, and now I find out that everyone's like connected, like everyone to a point.
Yeah.
It's such a family atmosphere here, and I tell all the young guys here also, I spent 23 years at the radio station, and I didn't realize what a semi to fully toxic environment was until I got here to know how great the environment is here. It's a very, very family like kind of environment here. Everyone's kind of rooting for each other. Nobody, like, I love the way it is here, but then I go back and I hear background stories and I hear, oh, my roommate J-Mo, or I was at Broch's house.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, guys, these are still all the same people that are running the company and are the breakers at this company, and still it's a really cool setting here at the yard. And I think what you guys have built here, and I say not just you two, but everyone involved at the top all the way to the bottom to everybody, is is the environment here is what it should be. Like, it should be a fun environment. We're ripping cards. I love when you send text. I'm the first person to respond to your text when you send them out in the group text.
Yeah.
It's a great day to rip cards, and the first thing I say is, yes, it is, because you just don't realize that's what we do for a living. We're ripping cards. We're finding cards.
I would say
it's a ridiculous environment.
It's a great day to get to rip cards.
Yes,
we don't have
right.
to.
Right.
You
It's
get
a great
to
day
rip
to
it.
get to right. And I think that's amazing what you guys have built here for this. And for the people that come in here and get jobs and they work and this and that, the Kobe's of the world, the people in the background that you don't see every day. I think it's a really cool thing that we did here, and that's why I wanted to kind of sit down and get background on the two of you guys also, because people like to know how it all started. People like to know the background athlete. Think I had any idea? No idea. That's how it all started.
That was viral. It was
right?
viral.
I mean, like, I had no idea how that whole thing started. And shout out to Reed Bleacher too, by the way, because I finally got
Reed's
him to
a good
sit
man.
down
Shout
with us
out
at the
Reed.
National.
Reed's a good man.
No, I don't want to do any podcasts. No, I don't do any podcasts. Then he sat down and wouldn't get up. So Reed, welcome. He was on like 4 different podcasts at the National.
If you
with us
call
as well.
Reed, you can't.
The
He's
best.
never hanging up.
One of the best,
Never hanging
and one of the best podcasts we did at the National, and I know you guys were outside at the National as well. Reed, C. Blez, and your brother sat down, and I thought I was around royalty, like royalty in this business. Because if you guys know the business, you've heard of the Blez brothers, you've heard of Bleacher, you've heard of us, and I had them all sitting down. And I think one of the greatest things that we got out of those 3 at that was, is there a competition? Sure, there's 50 different companies, 100 different companies that do it. Yet when those 3 guys sat together with me, it was like the 3 of them making each other better. Like, Reed was making Blez better. Blez was making your brother better. Your brother was making Reed better. Like, I think that's what's cool about this too, because yes, we're all selling and doing stuff, but yet the kind of hobbies are really good family.
It's not really competition.
Right.
That's why it's like not many industries are like you want to see your competitor. If you're Amazon versus another one, or Netflix versus HBO Max, you're like, how can we rock these guys?
Right.
If they have something bad happen,
Right.
you're happy. But in this industry, it's like I want to see Reed do well. I want to see
Right.
Blez. Like I'm good friends with Reed.
Right.
Like whenever I call C Blez, you saw I was
Yeah.
FaceTiming C Blez.
Right.
Like Jared, his brother. Whenever we talk,
Right.
we just
Jay
talk.
Blez I had him on also, right?
Like
Had him
all,
on,
all
right?
those guys,
Right.
it's just there's so many good people, and like it's not I want to see you do bad. It's like how can the whole hobby as a whole like come up?
Right. Well, and it's growing. And it's obviously grown from blaster boxes in the garage to where we are now, and what a sophisticated kind of system that we have now for this. All right, I got to get to this. And we're not done, but I have to get to this. How did this Trevor thing start for the two of you? Because you guys are the traveling Trevors. If you guys don't follow or see what goes on social media when there's a big game, they are front row. Mussy was there with you guys also. I call him that. Don't worry. We're in the podcast room. Kobe says I can't say his real name. So Mussy was there with and Max the magician on the camera. The 4 of you guys go on these trips. And I think it's a really cool thing. And I think more than anything, I love when you guys post one of those things and the hate comes out.
It's the best. We live rent free.
I truly love that because I was in a business for years where I love to piss somebody off and then get their feedback. And then the first thing I would say back to them was, because they were pissed and they left a comment or they called into the show and said, you suck and you don't. And the first thing I would say back to them, piss them off more than anything, thanks for watching and listening. Because that's just, you watch and listen. Otherwise you wouldn't know that I like these guys. But you guys with this Trevor Duval Jacksonville thing that just circulates through this building.
Well, I've passed this blessing on to Bugzy. You know,
Yeah.
this isn't a curse. This is a blessing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, I got to hear about it.
But for me, I'm trying to think exactly.
Did you grow
the
up a Jacksonville
pinpoint.
fan?
No, I grew up a Bucks, diehard
right.
Bucks my entire life. I still have not missed a Bucks game in its complete total probably since I've been 7 years old.
Wow.
Maybe 7. It's like growing up, it was me, Nick. My dad would all watch on the couch every day.
Shout out to Telford Dad, by the way.
For our entire life. He put in but we're athletes growing up. We always watch sports no matter what. But Trevor was, because we got in the hobby at 2020.
Right.
So we were ripping the Burrow class, the Herbert class. And then after like 6 months to a year, it was like, all right, I want to go in on a guy. I want to invest in a guy. And I want to be a part of it. And Zach, I don't know if Zach, Mr. Mussy, has anything to really do with it. He claims he has things to do with it.
Right.
But
well,
I
you
can't-
think he was one of your cousins at this point,
I
right?
can't imagine 4 years ago, I'm like, Zach invests in Trevor or likes the Jags. Let me like the Jags. I think it was a sense of right place, right time.
Right.
That we started ripping Trevor Lawrence rookie year. And I'm like, if I'm going to PC anybody, I listened to the guy in podcasts. I listened to the guy in the team. I liked everything. It was after there was the 3-14 season.
Right.
I'm like looking at comps, starting to learn it for the first time. I'm like, how could the number 1 overall pick sell for this cheap? I know he went 3-14, but I'm a ball watcher.
Right.
Yeah.
Like this guy had Urban Meyer. Right. This guy had no weapons. The team was terrible. He shouldn't sell for this. He has potential. So then I just bought every Trevor Lawrence card possible. Literally every single card possible on planet Earth. Every new product that came out that year, as Bugzy will know, as a breaker, all these new products come out. It was Mosaic, then it was Contenders Optic, then it's Flawless, then it's NT. Every single one. I bought every best parallel you could buy of every product release.
Yeah.
And that's when the hobby wasn't like crazy expensive.
Right.
Like I was getting cards that are still more expensive today, even though to the people's eyes, Trevor isn't him, but in my eyes, he's him. But like I bought a gold Kaboom, I remember it was $7K. PSA 10 just did 17. Like I bought True Gold for $7K at a card show. I just traded it with Bugzy at National for 17.
Right.
It's like all these cards I was buying because I was buying when they were 3 and 14. That's where, out of my collection to date, that's where probably 40 out of the big 50 Trevors was the year of the 3 and 14.
Right.
Then
Good time to invest.
you just develop love because then as that happens, there's all the haters. There's all these, because as a Bucks fan, how it worked was we got our Super Bowl with Brady. It's kind of like we climbed from poverty to the top. And then after we got to the top, me, my dad, my brother, I remember we're smoking cigars at our house. We're celebrating the Super Bowl. It's like, this is peak. We did it.
You did it.
Then I wanted to get back to poverty again.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a high class man. I want to be in the dirt. I want to be in the mud. This was the worst team in the league with a non-believer in Trevor, and I wanted to build back up to the top. And this year we do it.
You too.
Yeah. So I mean, everyone knows this is a big thing. When I first started here,
Right.
I was a very big Green Bay Packers fan.
Right.
You know, started with Brett Favre. I was named after Brett Favre, and then he kind of left, and then we got blessed with Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
And then I became this, like, how Grant is with Trevor is how I am with Rodgers.
Right.
But I wasn't into the collecting side of things. I didn't
Okay.
know anything about it then,
Right.
you know? And when Aaron Rodgers left the Packers, a part of me left the Packers.
can see it.
I realized that I was more of a fan of Rodgers than I was the team.
Okay.
And Grant said, listen, you're looking for a team. You're looking for a guy to root for right now. He's like, I think it's Trevor.
Good sell.
And I remember once I bought my first Trevor, this is it. I said,
you're in.
Because obviously we're in the hobby. So once you're monetarily invested into a guy, everything's out the window.
Right.
This is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that's been Trevor Lawrence for me ever since. And I own some pretty big cards of him. And, sitting next to Grant every day, I mean, he infiltrates.
Right.
He gets there.
Right.
But he preaches the gospel.
does.
He preaches the gospel. Because Trevor Lawrence, I agree. Everything Grant says, it's not like I'm agreeing with him just 'cause I'm agreeing with him. I actually believe what the man's preaching in. So that's kind of how it
He's
goes.
seen it live in the
I've
flesh.
seen it. I mean, everything, all what people say out there, they're not ball watchers. Because
Right.
if you watch ball, you saw what he just did in the rain. No
Right.
quarterback slings the ball like Trevor Lawrence in the rain. Not even Aaron Rodgers.
On many people's lists that are people watching ball, Trevor had the best game out of any quarterback for completions, for big time throws, and we were at the game and it was pouring rain. It's like what I've said to Bugzy in the stream. I've gone to games and I watch these throws live. I go home and I watch the TV. I'm like, there's not more than maybe 3 to 5 quarterbacks that are making these throws. Whether he's making mistakes also with it,
Right.
whether the team's not the best, but I'm like, I just saw a 60-yard dot or a 40-yard dot in the rain. I'm like, these quarterbacks aren't making that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And just to add on to that, it's like, especially this season, there hasn't been outstanding quarterback play. Like, you watch some of these teams, you watch drive stall, you watch teams getting a 3rd and long, and it's like, there's no hope.
Right.
And it's like, if you're watching the Jacksonville Jaguars and you're watching Trevor Lawrence, like, that's what a competent quarterback looks like compared to, I'd say, maybe 20 to 22 other quarterbacks in this league right now that I'm taking him over.
There's probably only Josh Allen I'm taking him over.
Okay.
Outside of that, it's Trevor or nobody.
I had to get to the bottom of it. I had to hear where this whole thing started, the whole deal, and I love it. And I want to tell you this. I'd like to do this again and more often with 2 of you guys. I want to talk more about the hobby stuff. I think what you guys do for the hobby is fantastic. I think the posts that you put almost daily, if not more than daily, about comps and about this and that, and about how the universe is kind of changing from the younger generation wanting to invest in something they know about. This is it. It's not stocks. It's not crypto. I thought your post the other day was fantastic because as a 46-year-old man, I was grown with the stocks and bonds and this and that. And cards are a waste. And remember, I grew up kind of in the junk wax era. So my 100 Shaq rookies that are sitting in my box at home are not worth what they were probably worth in 1995, what they are now. So I get it. But I think it's really good to educate people on it also. I think you guys do a good job of not just entertaining in the lair, not just pulling massive cards in the lair, but I think a big part of this is the education that goes on also, because once you get slightly educated, not even fully like probably you two are, but slightly, you kind of understand the business a little more and understand not just breaking, but cards in general. So I think it's good. And I want to do this again. Besides the fact I like you guys, and it's taken, 9 months for me to get, to ask for you guys to sit down with me. Forget about just
every other week. We should get a nice segment.
I'm in. Yeah. I think we should do it. I think it'd be fun. I think we talk hobby, talk sports. Football season's coming to an end. I honestly want to have you guys more as the playoffs kind of get into it because the Jags are up at the top. So I got to have some.
They're serious.
They're hunting up.
They're hunting up.
We got to
They're
see.
Serious. We'll be at the playoff games. We'll be there.
Wasn't even going to ask because I didn't think that there was going to be a question about that.
We should go to more too. I mean,
why not? And we're going to be listen. I'm going to be bringing you guys to bare knuckle fighting too at this point. Too.
Any sporting
events. We got to
events.
get to the Juggernaut. He came into the room with you. We got to get him out there also. Guys, thank you. We're going to do this again soon. I promise. Grand Bugzy took a while. You're here. This has been a lot of fun. I want to do it again soon. And by the way, look at the shirts. I give the guys the shirts. They put them on for the pod today.
Of course.
I mean, come on. Thank you, guys.
Thank you for having us.
No,
thank you
guys.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Grant and Bugzy here in Radio's Yard. Another edition of some hobby talk and story time with these two guys, and we will do it again soon. You heard it here. They both want to do more. We're going to do it more. You never tell a guy who's hosting a show or producing it like Kobe's in the back. Yeah, we'll do it anytime you want. Well, now we're going to bug your
We'll be
asses
back.
anytime.
No, that's fine.
They'll be back.
We talk all day for a living.
That's
exactly. We enjoy this.
Welcome to the last 30 years of my life, fellas. That's exactly what it's been. Grant and Bugzy here, guys. Special edition of Hobby Talk here in Radio's Yard on the Live at $1 Podcast Network.